We are officially in the burr months. Time to bust out the abuelita sweater, okay? And it's also time for a good old-fashioned accountability check-in. Hey, babes! Welcome back to Moonbae Crochet. It is Brandy, and today I'm here to provide you all a good old-fashioned accountability checkup, okay? I know at this time of year, everybody has so many things that they want to do, not just pertaining to crochet or the craft that you're into, but just so many other things pile on to your schedule at this time of year. Maybe you've gone back to school, maybe you started a new job, or maybe your workload becomes very demanding at this time of year. You got sports on, or your kids have sports, the days start to get shorter. Maybe not right away in September, but as we creep into October, November, before you know it, you blink. The stores have decked their halls and you have no idea where the year went. Such is the case for me last year. Completely ran out of time to do anything funsy that I wanted to do, and I felt like, my favorite seasons just passed me by and I didn't get to really enjoy them. So I'm determined to not let that happen this year, and I'm determined to make sure you don't let that happen to yourself this year. So I'm going to show you what I've accomplished so far. You can let me know in the comments below what you have gotten accomplished so far. And yeah, we're just going to have a little chat about that today. In case you're new here, my name is Brandy. I love to do crochet content on here, sharing patterns that I love, showing off my finished projects or works in progress, having a cute, fun crochet and chit chat moment with y'all, and honestly just getting cute, cozy, and crafty with you guys. If any of that kind of content sounds interesting to you, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, sticking around. We have lots of fun here. And without further ado, let's dive right into today's accountability checkup. Okay guys, so as some of you may know, I have a market that I'm going to be doing this year. Craft fairs are not something I generally do on a regular basis. I know some people that's like all they do, that's their thing, and I love that. I love going to craft fairs. I'm just not very organized or good about finding out about these things in advance, and then by the time they're going on, it's too late for me to join, or I don't have enough things prepped or anything like that, so it's not really my thing. However, I did my very first market ever in 2023, I think. I prepped quite a few things, it was only a one-day event. It was cute, it was fun, it was kind of nice to kind of see what the experience of putting on a craft fair is like. It was my very first one ever. It wasn't too busy. I didn't make too many sales, which was fine. Maybe a hustly bustly craft fair on my very first one would have been a little scary. So it was cool for the experience. But I don't know why I just got an itch recently, and so a month or two ago I found out about this craft fair that apparently goes on in my town every single year, and I don't know why I'm just barely hearing about it for the first time now, but I just kind of googled craft fair in my area. I ended up finding their website, and it's an annual thing. It always goes on near Thanksgiving, and it's a Christmassy themed market, and they have so many vendors, like over 100, maybe close to 200 vendors. It's crazy. And anyway, I was looking at their website and it's okay, our next, event was whatever. It said 2024. And I was oh, I missed it. Oh well. I scrolled all the way down to the bottom of their website and I did see follow us on Facebook or Instagram. And I was oh, let me check out their Instagram. I clicked on their Instagram. It looked cutesy. And their most recent post said something along the lines of thank you all so much to all of our patrons and vendors. Catch you next year. And then it said the dates for what was going to be the one coming up this year. And I was oh, well, that gives me plenty of time to start market prepping and stuff like that. So I was cool. And then I've been keeping an eye on it, and they actually I sent them an email to see hey, how do I end up signing up to become a vendor? And they didn't email me back, but very close after, maybe, I don't know, a week after I sent them that email, they posted on their Instagram hey, we know it's only August, but vendor signups are now available. Submit your applications, blah, blah, blah. Do you want an inside booth, an outside booth, whatever. Apparently within 24 hours of them putting that post up, they had over 100 vendors already applying, which I'm crazy. So actually, technically speaking, I don't actually know if I have been accepted yet to be part of this market. They said that people who get approved will start receiving their approval emails after October 15th. And I'm damn, because I applied late August on the first day of their signups, but still it's you never know. It's technically could be first come first serve, but also they say that they want to prioritize making sure there's a wide variety of different types of vendors at their event because they don't want so many of the same people selling the same things. Like, it makes total sense, and honestly I like that. I don't really like going to a craft fair or something, or like a vendor fair, and seeing so many people selling the same things. Just, it's not fun. So I get that. However, because crochet is so labor intensive, I need to be acting as if I have been accepted and I just have all this time on my hands to prep things for it. Because worst case scenario, if I get a rejection email saying like, sorry, didn't work out this year, maybe try again next year, you know, all the stuff that I'm making, I can just put it up on my Etsy shop or something. It won't like go to waste. But if I like put it all off until the 15th, when and if or whatever, if I'm going to receive an approval email, then it's like I'm not going to have that much time to prep things. You know what I mean? So sorry for the long-winded, you know, intro, but with all that being said, I have been slowly trying to, well, not slowly, I've kind of been trying to crank out the things, but I have been trying to market prep for this event and like crossing my fingers that I get accepted. So I want to have lots of plushies, but I don't want that to be like the only thing that I have at my booth. I want to have a good variety of like usable items, as well, like coasters, koozies, cozies like for cups, or even ice cream pints. You know, I have so many ideas, and I have like a laundry list of things that I want to get done. But so for now, I just kind of want to show you the few things that I have made already for the market. It's not too much yet. I am, you know, trying to ramp it up a little bit. I don't want to like, you know, run out of time or anything like that. But then I also have been kind of giving myself grace, and it's kind of like, I think of my market prep time as like work time, you know, like from this hour to this hour, I'm going to work. And then it's like, I think of kind of like my Christmas gifts that I also want to get done, because again, the heartbroken feeling I was left with last year when I didn't get to give any of my loved ones crochet gifts because I waited way too long and I didn't have time to finish anything was so upsetting to me. I can't even explain. So I've been sort of thinking of my Christmas gift ideas as my like leisure time. Like, okay, from like, I have like an hour or two before bed, I'm going to spend some time working on a Christmas gift, you know? I just need to find ways to make time for both. That way I can't say like, well, I didn't have time. It's like, no, I had time. So anyways, with all that being said, I want to know if you guys have like a big list of things that you're trying to work on this year, whether it be for gifts or for other occasions or for whatever it is that you got to get things done before the year ends, because we all know that's going to happen in a hot second. Please let me know in the comments below what it is that you've been working on and like what you've been doing to kind of keep yourself on track. That's kind of been my system so far, and I kind of just want to show off what I've done so far. So it's not too much, but you know, progress is progress. So I've been prepping a lot of Loaf cats recently. I do have like ideas for themed ones that I want to do. Oh, also I purchased some yarn from Premier Yarns because I had this thought, like, how do I say this? I don't want to use like burlap blanket, which you know how I feel about that, but I don't want to use like burlap blanket for one Loaf cat and then like Premier Parfait Chunky for another Loaf cat, and it's like technically the same amount of work and everything, but you look at them and like the burlap blanket one is this big and then the Premier Parfait Chunky one is this big, but I'm charging the same price for them. I just feel like people at a craft fair are gonna look at that and be like, what? So I purchased some Premier Parfait Chunky to make some Loaf cats soon. That way all my cats will be kind of like uniform, you know what I mean? Yikes, I know. We'll get to that eventually. Once the yarn order comes in, maybe I'll do a little haul. Other than that, I have not purchased yarn, other than like when Joann's was going out of business and I needed to stock up on some big twists and stuff. But yeah, because I have no reason to buy yarn. I don't, but well, this was my reason. So anyway, okay, so for these cats that I'm about to show you, I actually have a fun idea. I have made a velvet purple Loaf kitty. I think this one is so adorable and the velvet yarn is so gorgeous. I actually made these using 2 skeins of burlap velvet held together because I knew that like velvet is a little thinner than chenille, like even like a Parfait Chunky, it's like slightly thinner. So to get about this size, I would only need like 1 ball of Premier Parfait Chunky, but 2 skeins of burlap velvet held together produces practically the same result, and maybe it's slightly bigger than the Parfait Chunky, but I think the size is still very, very doable, very similar, and it's so cute. I have another one right there. That one's just my personal one, but there's that guy. And then I made a blue velvet loaf kitty. I love this one so much. I love like the crushed velvet look. I just think that they're so stinking gorgeous. Like, look at them, they're besties. And then I did make one more velvet loaf kitty. This one is white, and this one doesn't necessarily have that too much of that crushed look because it is white. It's more, I mean, if you look at it closely, it kind of does. It's a little harder to see on this one, but yeah, just so cute, just so adorable. I love it. This one actually, I did the same thing, 2 skeins of burlap velvet held together, and I don't know why this one came out slightly bigger than these two, but you know, again, it's not too big of a difference. You can't really tell. So did those so far. Then I got quite a few of pink loaf cats. These are going to be my Glinda loaf cats, and fun little ring-a-ding-ding, like get to check something off my list. My Glinda loaf cats are done. Complete finito. I'm so happy. I'm only going to make 6 of them. I do have quite a bit of things on my list, like, and I don't want to get overwhelmed, and I don't want to have too much overstock. I do want to have a good amount of supply, but it's like with the nature of just how long crochet takes and stuff, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I don't want to spend too much time making one specific thing, because then I'm not going to have time to make something else, you know. So I got to prioritize having a wide variety and just making as much as I can, but cutting myself off at a certain point, you know. So I have made 6 Glinda loaf cats. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Is that not the cutest freaking pyramid thing you've ever seen in your life? Adorable. And I know they're just pink loaf cats. Like, what's the big whoop? They're not Glinda, but they will be, okay? I'm getting little mini silver crowns that I'm going to hot glue on the top of them. And then once my premiere order comes in, I ordered green. I didn't have any green chenille. Can you believe it? I did have one. It's I think it's a, what is it called? Chenille Home Slim. But it was too dark green, like way too dark. It's like a very, like a pine, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's that, and that's not very Elphaba in my opinion. I needed a lighter green, and then also I didn't know if that one skein of Chenille Home Slim was going to make this many loaf cats also, so it's like, even if I tried to make that work, it probably wouldn't have. So yeah, and then I'm gonna get little black witch hats for those, and I feel like that's gonna be so cute. The market is literally the day after the second Wicked comes out. Like, how perfect is that? Yeah, so those are my Glinda loaf kitties. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that I got to check that one off of my list. I could just keep going and going with these. They're so cute. But again, priorities. One last little loaf-shaped animal to round this whole thing out, for my market prep at least. I made a loaf dog, but not just a regular loaf dog. Boom. A loaf weenie dog. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, first of all, he is so chunky, and honestly, if his ears were like a little bit more stuck up and he didn't have his little nose embroidered, he kind of looks like a cochi, like one of those little pan dulces. Everybody I showed this to in my family was like, oh, a cochi, before I put the nose on. I was like, please please. But oh, he is so cute. This one I did have, like, the pattern called for 10 rows of the body, and I did end up doing 15 because I think that the person who wrote the pattern was using a much thicker yarn than I am, like maybe a burlap blanket or something like that. Since I'm using Parfait Chunky, which is slightly thinner, I felt like the body, like, imagine these 5 rows missing, and it, like, the tail was like right here. I feel like that's not giving weenie dog, you know, so I had to add extra rows. But other than that, I mean, now he looks like a weenie dog. He looks like a freaking football. I love it. Like, go deep, you know. But yeah, made that cute little guy, and he's just stinking adorable. I'm probably gonna make like maybe 2 more of those. But yeah, so as far as market prep, that's all I've done so far, but I'm proud of like what I've done. And I also do have a little bit of stockpile from my last market. I do have some coaster sets that I hadn't gotten rid of. I have some little koozies, like can koozies and cup cozies, you know, the sleeves and stuff like that. So yeah, so as far as Christmas gifts, I was working on this in my last crochet and chit chat video, but this is going to be a bouquet blanket for my mother-in-law. And I've gotten quite a bit done. I really love how it's coming out. In the video of my Christmas in July, I think it was week 2, when I started doing the bouquet blanket, I did it with a cream colored yarn and I only used one skein, and I do still have that project here. I'm going to show it to you in a second, but I don't know, I was working on it, and even though I'm like, I like how this is coming out, it's cute, it just really wasn't screaming my mother-in-law, you know? Her favorite color is purple. I was like, I think I have to make this purple. And so I'm really glad that I pulled this guy out. I think it's so gorgeous, the color. And I am using 2 skeins of Caron Simply Soft held together to make this, because the pattern does call for chunky weight yarn. And even though I disregarded that when I started making the original one, and I do think that that one will still come out nice, I was like, you know what? I feel like it'll come out much thicker, bigger if I go ahead and just do 2 skeins held together, and I'm really liking the result. I'm using a 6mm hook. It's coming out gorgeous. It's like pretty big so far, and I think I'm only like about halfway done with the rows for the circumference. That is fun. That's as far as I've gotten on that one. Here is where I've gotten so far with the other one. It is also gorgeous, and I decided, so another little change that I've made to my Christmas gifts is I think in my very last episode of Christmas in July, where I was showing what I was going to make for my mom, like the poncho idea. As much as I know my mom would love like a wearable, like a crochet poncho or something like that, I simply do not trust her to use it. Like, how do I say this? It's not that she wouldn't appreciate it. My mom is very like appreciative, and she loves beautiful, like cozy wearables. However, my mom is very much like she wants to preserve everything. She wants to like save it for this perfect moment that probably doesn't exist. You know what I'm talking about? Like, she's like, oh, I'll wear it if I ever go to the moon. Not to that extent, of course, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, you get something new and you love it and you think it's gorgeous, and like because of that you don't ever want to mess it up or use it. I get like that too, like I can't lie. When it comes to clothing, I'm not like that too much, but when it comes to other things, like for example, I love stationery. I love getting a cute notebook, cute pens, and it's like I never want to use them because I'm like, well, but look at how perfect they are. I don't want to ruin them. It's like, what? That's what these things are for. So anyway, because of all that, I was like, you know what, a wearable, probably not the best for my mom, unless it was like a scarf or like mittens or a hat or something like that. My mom doesn't really wear hats, but like a scarf or something. But I was like, you know what, my mom loves a blanket and she would use a blanket. And so I thought, okay, this bouquet blanket that I started for my mother-in-law, I could just use it for my mom. Now, the only thing is I was only using 1 skein of the Big Twist value for this, whereas like with this one, I'm using double strand of the Caron Simply Soft. And like, so do you see? I actually have 3 more rows done on the white one than I do on the purple one, but they are like damn near the same. Like, it looks like I've done the same amount of work. So I hope that this one still comes out to a decent size. I hope it's not too small. It does still need about, I think, like 11 more rows or something like that. So I know it'll continue to grow, but I just hope it's not too small, because it's like, it's supposed to be a blanket. It's supposed to be cozy. So if this doesn't work out, I might have to frog it and go back and do it with 2 strands held together. But you know, I really hope I don't have to do that, because look at how much work it's gone into it so far. And like, no, it hasn't been too long. Like, there's not too many hours that have been dedicated to this, but I don't know. Yeah, I really should have probably listened when the pattern said it calls for chunky weight yarn, but it is what it is. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, the very last thing I have to show you guys is one that I'm actually like so incredibly excited about. It is the project I was working on for my sister-in-law, the Snoopy themed gift that I was making. I'm making her a tote bag, and this is as far as I've gotten so far in the graph. So yeah, I know it's not a lot, and the back is atrocious. Okay, I'm not the type to be carrying the yarn with me through each row. I just thought it was going to get too complicated or make the graph too like ugly, so I decided to be cutting off yeah, so you're gonna pretend that you didn't see that and just look how fun. I just have these yellow strands in here to kind of mark my stitches and like where the graph needs to be placed, but You guys, like, look, you know, when I look at it too close, I'm like, does that look weird? But then, like, I'm looking at it on camera, and when I look at it from far away, I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. I can definitely see an image forming there. This one is, like, so fun. The only thing I don't really love is, like, you know, all the color changes or making sure that I'm counting the correct number of stitches. And it's like when you're working back and forth, you got to make sure, okay, on this row, I'm reading the graph from right to left, and on this row, I'm going to be reading it from left to right. And it's, like, a little tough, but I love it. It's so fun. Oh my gosh. I can understand why people love making like graphs and like tapestries and stuff like that. They're so fun and satisfying. It's just, it's difficult. It's difficult for me to like, you know, for all the color changes and stuff like that, but I will say there is something very satisfying about it. So that is my check-in, my accountability check-in. I've definitely been getting stuff done. Maybe not as much as I would expect to at this point, but you know what? We're working on it. We're moving along. We're in September. I still have plenty of time. Don't like to say that really because I don't want it to slip away from me, but I think as long as I continue doing what I'm doing, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna get it done, you know? Get her done. So please let me know what you have been doing and how you've been keeping yourself on track, how you've been staying accountable. You know, it's good to have an accountability partner sometimes, okay? I can be that for you if you don't have anybody else. Just check in with me whenever you want. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for being here as always. I so appreciate you. I know this video was a little bit different than my usual stuff, but I honestly really liked to kind of show you guys, okay, look, this is what I've done so far, you know, proof that I am working on it and I didn't just start things to throw them in the closet and never pick them up again, you know? If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day, week, month, night, whatever you are having. Please enjoy yourself, and I will see you all in the next one. Mwah. Bye! Get to work!